WCBI News at 5 starts now.
Good evening, everyone. An early morning house fire claims the life of a Hatley woman. It was around 2 in the morning when 911 was called about a house fire at the 60,000 block of Hatley Detroit Road. Fire crews were there in minutes and saw flames as they arrived. It took firefighters about half an hour to extinguish the blaze. The woman was found in a bedroom. Volunteer firemen from Smithville and Splunged helped fight the fire.
Volunteerism across the nation, especially with volunteer firefighting, is declining, and it takes more and more people, more departments to assist each other. It's just something that we love to do, and we like helping our community.
The victim's name has not been released. Her body was sent to the medical examiner's office for an autopsy. The state fire marshal's office is investigating the blaze. A line of strong storms with 60-mile-per-hour winds tore across North Mississippi last night, leaving many in the area without power. Those strong winds left over 3,000 customers in the dark, especially in the Ackerman area. Ford County Electric Power Association crews worked around the clock to restore electricity in homes across Choctaw and Oktibbeha counties. Ford County's manager of consumer services, Cliff Wall, says its crews were quickly called in to make repairs.
Broke 3 of our double circuit poles out of our Ackerman substation, and at that point we had about 2,000 people out in Choctaw County. We sent 2 crews to Choctaw County last night to take care of those double circuit poles, and had pretty much everybody that could get back on by midnight last night.
Wall says there are still about 20 homes that are without power. Electricity could be restored by this evening. Folks in Attala County are also recovering from widespread damage and power outages from the same storm system. In fact, the National Weather Service confirms an EF1 tornado touched down there. Crews were working through the night to remove debris and down power lines after the storms. Hundreds of residents also reportedly lost power. The National Weather Service is expected to survey 8 counties throughout the state today.
And Joey, we've actually just gotten in hot off the press those results from the surveys. I'll have that coming up in Maine weather in just a few minutes. But the good news is today, no bad weather to worry about anywhere across the area. It was a gorgeous day. No clouds anywhere to be found on the Alpha Insurance camera network here in downtown Columbus. It is a little chilly out there now. We're 54 here in Columbus and 50 in Tupelo. Some areas already down into the upper 40s. And that is thanks to that cold front that came through yesterday, bringing us that severe weather. But now that it has come through, it's ushering in some much cooler air, and that cooler air is going to continue to filter in. We'll be down into the 30s tonight and even colder for New Year's Eve. I'll have those details and more coming up in just a few minutes. Joey.
Shock and disbelief still surround a small Texas town after a deadly church service shooting. Here's the latest on the investigation.
Kind of halfway turned towards me, and that's when I took the shot.
Volunteer Security Director Jack Wilson is being hailed as a hero for taking down a gunman Sunday inside the West Freeway Church of Christ.
I took out some evil, and that's the way that's the way I'm processing it. Is I took out someone that was evil and had evil intent.
Armed congregants, members of a church security team, confronted the shooter just seconds after he pulled a shotgun from his pants and killed 2 parishioners.
This church responded in seconds and reacted and saved the lives of potentially the rest of the people in that church, which I was told was well over 200 people.
Church members identified the victims as Richard White and Tony Wallace.
We lost 2 great men today, but it could have been a lot worse.
The FBI is working with local and state investigators to figure out what may have motivated the shooter.
So my understanding is they didn't necessarily have a direct connection. He had been here, I think, several times, and they always, or I think from my understanding, they're very open to helping people that are transient, that are homeless, and probably going to be very difficult to determine exactly what his motivations were, other than maybe mental illness.
Isabel Ariola and her family noticed the man sitting toward the back of the church.
I don't feel comfortable. I said he just, is giving me a bad vibe.
She was within feet of the gunman when he started shooting.
I tell my husband, let's go, give me my baby, and I just said, I got to get her out of here.
Jack Wilson says the shooter was wearing a fake beard and that he was being watched from the moment he walked into the church. Mireya Villarreal, CBS News, White Settlement, Texas.
The Texas Attorney General believes security preparations made at that house of worship should be used as a model to prevent other church shootings. Now, in the wake of that gunfire, church security everywhere is being brought into question. Here locally, pastors are ensuring congregations that church is still a safe place to go. Jody Andrews, senior pastor of Life Church in Columbus, says his church has a dedicated security team, some of which have backgrounds in law enforcement. He says members should not fear attending their regular church services.
Don't stay away from a place of worship because of these situations. Don't let your regular routine change. Things can happen anywhere at any time, whether you're at the mall, whether you're out to eat, whether you're in a church service somewhere. People are people, and you're going to have situations happen all the time.
Andrews says his church is praying for those affected in the shooting in Texas on Sunday, as well as Saturday's anti-Semitic attack in New York. Eddie Hawkins takes the oath of office, becoming Lowndes County's next sheriff. He was sworn in at the Lowndes County Courthouse this morning. With more than 20 years of law enforcement experience, Hawkins started at the Columbus Police Department. He's leaving the Mississippi Bureau of Narcotics to be sheriff. He hopes his knowledge will help the agency. Hawkins is most excited about bringing new technology to the patrol cars.
One of my biggest goals is to work with the department and try to implement computers in the vehicles to advance the department forward.
Hawkins' official term begins on January 6th. We will have more on his goals as sheriff tonight at 6. Lowndes County's Chancery Clerk takes the oath of office today. Cindy Good defeated Columbus Councilman Joseph Mickens in the general election. She has worked 14 years in the Chancery Clerk's office for the retiring Lisa Younger niece. Good says there are only minor changes she wants to make in the office.
We have a great flow that Lisa set in place several years ago and her father, but we do have some things that we are going to not necessarily changes, but maybe upgrades, like with the computer system, maybe the debit and credit card use and some things like that. You know, times do change and we need to just begin to go with the flow.
Lisa Younger niece served 4 terms as Chancery Clerk. There will be one new face on the Lowndes County Board of Supervisors the next 4 years. Tripp Harston was sworn in as the District 2 Supervisor this morning. He tells WCBI that he wants to have better coordination between the county and the city. Harston also wants to see workforce training to continue to grow at the community. In the meantime, Harston will lean on the experience of other county leaders on the board.
They seem to be a good board that works well together, and I expect to fall right into that. Also, you know, I have a lot to learn from them. These guys, none of them have served any less than 1 term. So, you know, a lot of them are seasoned supervisors, so I expect to learn a lot from them.
Harston replaces Bill Brigham, who did not seek re-election. From impeachment to Supreme Court decisions, take a look at the most historical political moments from this past year. That story coming up next.